stops, we got chased by rockabillys, I mean, one of the other things is to remember this was still a randomly violent time. I mean, the masses took umbrage at anything that was different, right? And we were different, believe me. And so it was physically dangerous to be a Blitz kid. You had to put in a real lot of effort, a real lot of commitment, and therefore I think that was another thing. Because you'd gone 100%, you were going to do it. You were going to push it as far as it could go. This was not a Tuesday night out getting dressed up. This was not fancy dress. This was us. This is who we are now.
Well, Taboo then showed up and really did it, right? I mean, when Taboo showed up, the music was no longer important. I remember going in there, Geoffrey Hinton, for like 1 minute, he was like so drunk, it was you're the one that I want, and they were all dancing.
But yeah, there would have been no Taboo without the Blitz. There would have been no Beetroot. There would have been no Kilt, the Hell, all of those clubs. The idea of club culture didn't exist. As we heard earlier on, style was something slightly dubious that the French did.
Saturday night on the plastic palm tree, if I remember.
You know, so we changed all of those perceptions. People say that Cool Britannia started with sort of Blair and Blur. No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It started in the Blitz Club on a Tuesday night with Boy George dressed as Boudicca.
Robert, we went to New York, Robert.
Yeah.
50 of us went to New York. You know, I mean, we were hosted in New York, and Boy George absolutely loved New York, right? Do you remember? And they loved him. And suddenly we were like free drinks everywhere.
Oh, the minute I said, you know, that I work for the Face, now I've written 2 articles for the Face. I went to New York, and literally I couldn't buy a drink, couldn't pay to get in a nightclub.
No.
You know, didn't need a hotel room to sleep in. I mean, it was extraordinary how internationally big it became very, very quickly.
It's like I said, with pebbles thrown into a pond, and but the speed with which everything kind of moves out is profound. You said something interesting about, well, many interesting things. Taboo was not about the sound, it was about the look.
Yeah.
You're talking by extension about the kind of rave culture later, which was all about the music and the experience rather than the look, and people with t-shirts and any old crap. What we've just heard from the 3 of you is a kind of manifesto for postmodernism, isn't it? The Blitz Club was postmodern
in every
sense. How much tension in the scene of the Blitz Club was there between different art forms, and particularly between style and music? How symbiotic were they, and how much was the creative tensions of little tribes and so on?
Well, the other night I was in Helsinki, and they'd named the club The Anvil, which is the second album by Visage, and the album cover by most amazing photographer, shot in Paris in the George sang. Yeah, Helmut Newton. The point was, there are people who, the album cover, the artwork, the photographer, the clothes Anthony Price was making for Brian Ferry, then became Duran Duran, those beautiful suits on Brian Ferry. Everything was interlinked, as Robert said, and then there was, those shoes. These shoes are actually called Blitz. They're actually called Blitz because there's a range of shoes by Geoffrey West named after all of these clubs. There's a Wag Club shoe, there's a Blitz Club shoe, there's a Hacienda shoe. So luckily, like drinks in the 80s, I got a pair of shoes out of it. The point really is, if you're a shoe designer like Guy West, you were inspired to create a range of shoes, a range of clothes. You go, oh look, there's Brian Ferry. Who made that jacket? Oh, when Grace Jones had that bustier. Who's Jean-Paul Goude? Who did the artwork? And when that Visage video came out, Fade to Grey with Richard Shara, which nobody in the rental company wanted us to make, they wanted us to get in a van and tour some universities. I said, fuck off. We don't do that, we make videos. Yeah, but there's nowhere to show them. Well, they want us in Germany, right? Yeah? Well, just send them the video. And as you said, it spread really fast. David Bowie, Ashes to Ashes, just lit that fuse and boom, everybody's, what's the Blitz? David Bowie went to the Blitz. Look at that song. Look, I mean, he was walking down the beach with a crane and 4 people died. You know what I mean? It was just mad, really, wasn't it?
Can I sing the praises of the poor dear departed Steve Strange here? Because as important as Rusty's music was, and it was vital, it was absolutely important, Steve Strange was a human mixologist If he was mixing the music, Steve was mixing the people.
Yes.
And I think one of the things that's remarkable about the Blitz is exactly what you said. You got it so right. It wasn't one group of people. It wasn't one look or any of those things, which is what made it so different from every youth cult that had gone before it. Mod said you look like this. Teddy Boy said you look like this. We said you better look like someone else next week. And there were different kind of groups in there. There were ex-punks who were still quite anarchic and wild. There were kind of rather arch fashionistas. There were kind of drunken soul boys in white socks. I always thought it was the white faces of the art crowd versus the white socks of the soul crowd. And it was this mix of all of those people, some posh ones, some poor ones, some anarchist squatters, some people who lived in Knightsbridge. That mix wouldn't have happened anywhere else. And it only happened because of Steve.
I was a soul boy when I was 14, and that's a band I ballet wrote many years later, listening to Marvin all night long. And I used to play a song that Sade covered, you know. And I used to play a song that Monsieur covered, you know. I used to, well, you can look at my playlist. The reason why it's called Romantic, because I was playing Adagio for strings by Gustav Mahler. I was playing entire